is another episode of the Backstage Sports Podcast. I'm Joe Connor.
I'm JT Harker.
And today we have a very special guest with us on the show, Mr. Vershawn. What's up? Welcome to the show, fam.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me on the show, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming. So, for those of you who don't know who Mr. Vershawn is an amazing musician. He's from Philly. Me and Vershawn actually used to play ball together. We played on the same on the ball team.
Amongst other things.
Part of the first playoff team in Gamp history. Shout out Gamp. But Vershawn is also an amazing musician and producer and artist who recently just released his first debut album, right? That's the debut on Sage, right?
Debut album, yeah.
Dope. So tell us a little bit about Sage for the people who don't know you, haven't heard any of the music. Tell us what the music is, like, you know, what kind of music is it? How would you describe it to the people who don't really know who you are and you want them to check it out?
So prior to Sage, I put out 2 EPs, Mint and Honey. And it was me just kind of testing out the house music vibe, kind of the whole dance vibe. And people liked it. And I just was like, it's time for me to just put out a whole body of work. You know, I had some things lined up, but of course COVID hit, but it's majority house music. I have like an Afrobeat joint in there, kind of like a reggaeton vibe type of joint in there. Mostly instrumental, and then I tried to mix it up, have some instrumental and some with some vocalists on there just to give it some spice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's dope. So the tracks that you have, because I heard a couple with some dope vocalists on there, and I was like, who is this? I knew it wasn't you singing. So the tracks that you have some vocalists on there with, like, how did that collaboration work? Are you writing that music, or do you collab with them to write the music? Like, how's that working?
So I have one with Brittany Thomas. Shout out to Brittany. I talked to her, and I was like, I want to do a song, and then I asked her what vibe does she like, what kind of songs does she like, and she forwarded me a couple songs, and from there I just kind of built it off of there, and then kind of sent it to her, and then we got together and recorded it. Then the other one is a song called Real with my man Shell. He actually wrote it. He just had like acoustic guitar to it. He didn't really necessarily know what he wanted to do with it. Some people start singing and writing, just have a guitar. They're not really into the technology like that yet. Yeah. And I was just like, yo, this joint could kind of go, you know what I mean? And I got that and kind of put the little reggaeton on there, kind of arranged it a little bit. That's how I came with that one. The last one, I had my man Zach on there. Zach, Ambrose sax player, currently in Cali. And my man Jade from college. I was just feeling the house vibe. So that one was more on the organic side. Like I just made something, sent it to somebody, and they did what they did, and that's how it pretty much came together.
That's dope. So the name Sage, what brought about the name Sage for the album title?
So pretty much Mint and Honey, they're kind of like this family of like flavors and scents and kind of tastes. So, as going on with the series of Mint, Honey, Sage was the one that I kind of came up with next. Sage is a interesting thing. You see people burning the sage and trying to use these things to get these bad vibes out of here. So I just thought it was kind of fitting for the time.
Okay, that's dope. Okay, well, let's jump into it. I feel like so much has happened, and not just the past week, but since I've been on the show, so much has happened. I guess we was a little late on getting the last episode out, but I had to go away for an online show that we had to shoot in Vegas with. Otherwise, so shout out to Boss, my man Boss, who sat in. I saw some stuff from the show. Everything looked super dope. So that's awesome. But I feel like so much has happened in just the past couple days. You had Patrick Mahomes signing the biggest contract in the history of the world and of the earth. We got to talk about Cam Newton going to the Pats. We got to talk about all of these bodies dropping out of the NBA restart. Baseball is back now. It's just so much going on. But let's start with the 10-year, $1 gazillion contract that Pat Mahomes just signed. Okay,
I think it was 2 gazillion.
I think it was actually 2 gazillion. So it was 10 years with like a bunch of extra incentives. It's a whole lot going on in the contract. It's crazy. The thing about the contract to me that stood out was the years. Like it sounded like something that we've never heard of. Like we normally don't hear football players sign these long contracts like that.
Was it? It was 10 years.
It's a 10-year contract. So it's a 10-year contract that is. So we've been hearing. We first heard 450 million. We heard all these other numbers that's been floating around. Apparently, with incentives total, it's $503 million. That just includes over $63 million in guaranteed money at the point of signing, and $141 million is guaranteed in the case of an injury. So what, JT, what did you think when you first heard about this?
First thing I did was snapshot it and send it to you.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we've never seen it before. We knew he was going to get a giant contract. He's the brightest young star in the league, and he just won a Super Bowl, unfortunately, by beating porn star Jimmy and my 49ers.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's incredible. And I saw the same thing, what the numbers really mean. There are incentives, and I don't know if, it's not like it's all guaranteed. But
yeah, so it's not all guaranteed, but apparently it can be. There's like something that happens where there's some incentives built into the contract where as he hits some of these benchmarks, more guaranteed money comes in, apparently, or something like that.
Right. Which, is a lot of contracts, but it's still just giant. I mean, it's unprecedented, obviously. And it's going to raise the bar for the next big, the next big quarterback's coming up. Lamar Jackson's going to be up for a contract. Is he going to be somewhere in that stratosphere?
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's crazy, man.
Vershawn, what do you think when you heard about this?
I mean, was it 10 years or something like that?
Yeah, 10 years, $503 million. They're saying only 30% of the contract is actually guaranteed, and the without the injury clause, it's really 60. Is the only guaranteed part is $63 million, but I guess guaranteed total is 141.
Yeah.
I mean, to do a contract for that long in the NFL, it's just kind of, like I said, it's unheard of. Like, 10 years. I mean, he only won one championship, right?
Right.
And they're just giving him the money. I'm like, at least I'll be like, I at least need one more before I invest all of it. Say that I'm going to give you this type of money. It's interesting because what's going to happen with, like you said, the other quarterbacks. We know Dak has just been trying to get all of this money.
He's going to ask for $2 trillion in this next joint. He's going to ask how much he's going to ask for.
So that's why it's just business-wise, it's just game-changing. I don't know who he has, but then that was a crazy negotiation. I think 10 years is just crazy to be locked in because he might, anything can happen in there. Like, they might get rid of Andy, you know what I'm saying? And then what? Now you with a bad coach and you got another 7 years left.
Right.
Yeah, but you know what we're seeing, and it's a really great thing, and not just in football, but with social media and personal brands getting so big, the players are just getting more and more and more leverage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is the same reason we're seeing this program with the G League for guys coming out of high school. Right. And it's only going to get bigger because what's going to happen is now they're starting to – Bronny, and this guy's got a personal brand at 14 years old.
Yeah.
And all the dudes coming up, they're going to realize this and start leveraging the social media game to the point that they're going to be able to sell products as high schoolers, let alone college kids, let alone pros. I think numbers are going to start going big because now they got all the leverage. Because you don't give me the deal I want. I just wait it out and I go somewhere else and I get my money somewhere else.
My issue. So here's the thing that Reggie Bush was on one of the talk shows today, and he brought up a good point. He said the contract was actually way more team friendly than it appears on its face, right? Partly because of the 10 years thing, right? The 10 years takes all of the leverage to re-up and come back and stack your money higher. It takes all of that leverage away from Patrick Mahomes because now the team doesn't have to do, and they got you locked in for 10 years. They don't have to come back and renegotiate anything, right? So say within the first, say he three-peats, right? And ends up within the first 5 years of the contract winning 3 Super Bowls, right? And the next guy who's up is not making $45 million a year. He's making $55 million a year, right? But you're locked in or whatever at whatever this rate is, right? So Reggie made a good point in saying like the length of the contract actually does Pat Mahomes a disservice, because that's part of what Dak is fighting against the Cowboys now, where the Cowboys want to give him a 5th year, and Dak doesn't want a 5th year. He wants to do a 4-year contract. It's the reason why LeBron, when he was doing all of those 1-year deals, because he was planning for the cap to go up and for the players to get a bigger piece of the pie and different CBA stuff like that. And so he was doing these short-term deals so that when he could come back, he can cash in a timely fashion. You get what I'm saying? So after reading everything, it kind of made me think like, damn, like did he do himself a disservice at this juncture, and did he do the other quarterbacks a disservice at allowing them to lock him in for so long?
Joseph Connor, they're paying him basically possibly $500 million.
But it's not $500 million
for a football contract.
It's $63 million, which is significantly, because that's what I'm saying.
Guaranteed.
Right, and you got to think guaranteed, because in football nothing exists and only the guaranteed.
Right, of course. But is that low for a guarantee though?
Yes, because even Kirk Cousins' guarantee was $85 million.
So he's partially
and
betting
it was fully
on himself.
Guaranteed.
So he's partially betting on himself.
Yeah.
But we don't know what some of the incentives are though. Like some of those incentives may be.
Some of them are like
play a certain amount of play a certain amount of games. Yeah. So I mean, I gotta think it's not like all these incentives are crazy. He doesn't have to win the Super Bowl every year. You know what I mean? But right. I mean, that's still crazy because even if you're betting on yourself and he completes 7 or 8 of those seasons, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, but it's not as much money as it looks. That's the thing, and
it could be as much money as it looks.
But that's what he was saying. That's what Reggie was saying too. He was saying like the thing is he could have guaranteed. He's Patrick Mahomes. He's the best player in football right now, right? Uh-huh. Let alone being the best quarterback. So he's saying he also did himself a disservice because he could have pushed for way more guaranteed money because of who he is.
But do you think he's leaving some, and he strikes me as the kind of dude that just wants to win. Do you think he's leaving some open space so that they can be bringing in other guys?
I think so, but I think the length of the contract made it so much easier for him, for his money not to count hard against the cap. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of what happened with Pippen, where he saw his money and he just went and did a long contract.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, they started winning. And
winning.
And then he wanted his stuff. He was sick. They weren't trying to renegotiate. Obviously, the money is different than it was then.
Right.
You know, but even seeing that, you know, the ability to renegotiate could always just, you know.
Yep.
It could be in your best favor, but if he's just like, man, I'm gonna just stick with it, man. I probably wouldn't even play. In his mind, he might not even do 10 years. He probably like, at least I got a good $63 million left, you know.
But isn't that your leverage? Isn't that your leverage to walk away? Like your leverage when somebody call you for a gig and they offer you X amount of dollars, right? The only leverage you have is what? It's to say no. It's to walk away, right? So if now I sign you to if I sign you to a record deal and I lock you in at whatever X percentage is, but the record deal is over the life of 10 to 15 years or something like that, you could exponentially outperform that deal. But because I got you locked in, it's really in my best interest to lock you in for you know what I'm saying, for such a long period of time. So to me, he low key did them a favor. You know what I'm saying? Because now they can get out of the deal. They can drop him whenever.
I think they found something that worked for both sides, and he's probably betting on himself a little bit, and they're, you know, keeping themselves in a good position in case things don't work out or he gets injured or whatever. But man, I also don't want to speak too much on it because I don't know exactly what the incentives are. Because I mean, if he ends up making well, you put up the equation about how much he's making per minute and per hour and per game the other day, and it's just like
it's crazy.
It's crazy.
It's crazy, but I think what Reggie was saying was key, because he's saying like you got to pay attention to the little bit of the details that we do know.
Right? Yeah.
We got to pay attention to the details so we really understand like. He didn't even win this deal. Like Patrick Mahomes didn't win this deal. The Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs, won in this deal because he said it would have been smarter for him to ask for a fully guaranteed. If Kirk Cousins can get a fully guaranteed contract, which was the first, right? I believe Kirk Cousins, he was the first, and that just happened a year or two ago. Mm-hmm. So he was the first to get a fully guaranteed contract. If you think if they would give Kirk Cousins, they wouldn't give Patrick Mahomes a guaranteed contract. You know what I'm saying?
They definitely would have.
So but it would have been smarter to do that.
Again, like we saw Tom Brady, and I think that's part of the reason he was out when they weren't making it up to him later on. But, you know, he took less money overall for the sake of winning, and also because he was making money in other ways, which today there's more ways than ever to make that money up that you're not getting the contract. So I think him and his agent were like, look, you were just on the cover of Madden. We're doing this. We're doing that. You've got shoe deal. You've got this deal. Like, you'll make up the money and then some. If it's about winning, you know, let's do this. Because I think that dude wants to win. I think that dude wants KC to be the next Patriots for the next 10 years.
I mean, they can be.
If it's not about money, it's definitely about winning for sure.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's
I mean they're built to win for the next 4 or 5 years right now. Like I can't see they should be the favorites. They should be the favorites like for the next couple of years.
That dude wants to be there for the long term.
So
as far as winning,
the other thing that happened was this little team called the Patriots signed this guy off the street named Cam Newton for 1 year, $7 million. I guess $7.5 million is the total worth of the contract. That's another one that has a couple guarantees in it. It's only $1.5 million. Only $1.5 million is actually guaranteed.
How do they find this guy? Was Cam like some sort of like
Instagram
unsigned free agent, undrafted Instagram?
So Instagram, like
they saw him working out on Instagram.
Yeah, you've been on Instagram and you see something, you be like,
guys
oh,
working
what's that?
out, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you slide into the DMs and things, so deals get done. A lot of deals get done through Instagram.
Right. I'm gonna start posting my workouts and maybe somebody will pick me up.
You should try it out.
I'll put me running the 40 on there, dude. I guarantee you I'll run the 40 in at least like a 5.4.
Try it out. Try it out. You never know what can happen.
I'll do it, man. Sign me up.
A lot of relationships, believe it or not, in this decade started on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly.
Both business and pleasure, but a lot of it starts on Instagram.
For me, mostly one or the other. But I'll deliver. Yeah, I will deliver.
You want to deliver it? Try it out. So this was the best move for the Patriots. I don't know. I don't understand what took them so long, but the fact that it took so long really played in their favor because they only spent $1 million on Cam Newton, who was one of the still today to me is top 10 quarterback in the league.
That's probably what took so long because I think he was looking for starter money and then said, hey, let's go play it out for a year.
Well, yeah, I guess nobody came knocking, which doesn't make sense to me because if it's 31 teams in the league, I can name at least 6 of them who desperately need a quarterback. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this is another instance. It ain't about money. He obviously wants to win. You know, he obviously probably thinks that he's probably better. The old quarterback? What's the old quarterback for the Patriots? I forgot.
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
The old guy.
Yeah, Tom Brady.
Bomb Trady.
Yeah.
The old guy that's in Tampa.
Yeah, he probably's like, I'm better than Tom. You know, I think he wants to win too. That's what I think. I think he wants to win. This is definitely not about the money. You know, and it is disrespectful that, I mean, he's not getting calls from teams. Like, he's probably better. He's probably better than most of their starting quarterbacks and their backup quarterbacks.
Right.
You know, so it's just like smacking the face.
To me, he got a chip on his shoulder, and he's gonna take it out on the AFC East. I don't see. So at this point, like, why wouldn't they win their division? You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't see them.
Yeah, I mean, they're already in not the strongest.
They're
division.
already in a trash division that's helped Tom Brady for years.
I'm very, very curious to see over the course of the season how Cam and Belichick and Josh McDaniel get along, because it's the Patriot way.
It is.
And Tom Brady, who was Mr. Patriot, got tired of the Patriot way. And I'm sure Cam Newton in the beginning is going to be stoked to just be there. Successful organization. Doesn't have a lot of talent right now to work with, though.
No, he doesn't.
But I'm curious to see, with not a lot of talent, if he's not fitting the bill right away and Belichick and Josh McDaniel are on his ass, how that relationship builds.
Well, my thing is, the Patriots have almost never had a lot of talent. Like, they have.
True, but they've had Tom Brady.
They've done so much. Yeah, but they won with a mediocre Tom Brady. They won Super Bowls with a mediocre version of Tom Brady, right? So the Super Bowl in which we when the Eagles played them, Tom Brady lost that Super Bowl, but he scored 12 points or 13 points in that Super Bowl. He's won a couple Super Bowls where he didn't even score a touchdown, right? So this goes back to the system versus the player, right? Seeing Cam Newton today is better than Tom Brady to me. A healthy Cam Newton, I should say, a healthy Cam Newton, fully healthy today in 2020 is better than Tom Brady, right? And they barely missed the playoffs last year.
Maybe, but we're gonna find out, because a lot of that has to do with the team, because we're going to see a mediocre Tom Brady to maybe not even quite mediocre Tom Brady with a lot of talent. That's what I'm interested to see. A Cam who's maybe coming off injury, but still obviously is going to have a lot of ability with not a lot of talent, a strong defense. They have a good defense, but not a lot of talent. And a Tom Brady who's almost done with a plethora of talent.
To me, it's the Patriots just being the Patriots with a better quarterback. Like, to me, there's few blips in the Patriot dynasty in which they look like the Miami Heat team of 2016 or whatever, right? Like the Randy Moss years where they had, or it's like, it's a few of those years where it's like, oh, okay, like they're going to, write it down on paper. But most of the time that they were even still the favorites in the beginning of the season, they didn't have a lot of talent. They just had Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, and they had a couple of other spare parts that we just knew they were going to put it together, especially being in that weak division. We knew they were going to put it together. Now you have a younger quarterback, right? A more athletic quarterback, and with the same system and the same coach. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure they're going to make some type of, I think if they are picking up steam, I'm sure they'll make some type of moves to really get them in a prime position to really make some noise. I guess he's only signed for 1 year. So I guess this is really just kind of a test to see what they can do with that marriage. But I think it's the best move for Tom and the Patriots. Because when you look at their record, like where did you have them finishing without Tom Brady this season before they signed Cam? I don't remember what you said.
We had them. I have it right in here. I can look. Okay. I think I had them at 10 wins. You had them at 9. Rhino had them at 11, winning the division and obviously going to the playoffs. I think I had them also winning the division, going to the playoffs.
I'll put them at 10 wins. And I think they're going to win their division this season. Where you got them at?
Yeah, you had them at 10 wins, win division.
Okay.
The Ravens aren't in their division, are they?
No. So you're talking about your Dolphins, the Jets, and the Bills.
That's it.
That's it.
I mean, the Bills were pretty nice last year. Man.
They was. If they don't, if the Patriots do not win the division, I would assume that it would be because of the Bills.
I'd probably give it to the Patriots then.
I'm giving it to the Patriots.
I'll give it to the Patriots for sure. Because I mean, coaching, you just never know. You know what I mean? Yeah. Coaching players, you just never know. They might know something we don't know.
Right.
You know?
Right. So as far as Super Bowl contention goes, are either of you putting the Pats in Super Bowl contention? Like, did this move put them back in Super Bowl contention for you?
It's so tough to say, but if I've got to make a prediction, and since we've done this show, Joe, I'm trying to make bolder predictions.
Yeah.
Because a lot's got to go right, a lot's got to go wrong. I'm just gonna predict this though, because I love Cam. I love watching him play. It's an interesting fit with the Patriots. So I think it's the right risk for both of them.
Yeah.
But I'm just gonna predict that by the end of the season, that relationship is not strong. I think they don't go to the. I'm going to predict they win the division, are bouncing the first round of the playoffs, and I think Cam's out of there in a season.
You think Cam is leaving in a season?
I just think he's out of there one way or another. He's either leaving or they're leaving him.
Why do you think that their relationship won't be that well?
I think it's a very structured system. And I think Cam's ability, he's used to not being an as structured a system. I think the system is typically more about Cam than about the system. And I think Belichick's a different type of coach. I just think the personalities aren't going to work. I think he got Brady young, and they won one early, and then they won, and then I think they just were all bought in. Obviously, they had their issues. I don't see it with Cam. I could be wrong, but I think he's out of there in a season.
So this graphic that we're looking at right now is a comparison between Cam and Brady for the last season, right? They're almost identical, except Cam gets the nod. Except Cam has more, almost double the interceptions, but he has a better passer rating. Same on touchdowns, and he has a better completion. I think Cam, looking at this, to me, if the Patriots were favored to win the Super Bowl the past year, the year before that, to me, looking at this, they would still be, for those who had them favored. I don't see how you still don't have them favored. You know what I'm saying? Because that was this is the quarterback that they had. Like, I don't think people realize. When you take the name off the jersey, this is the quarterback. They had a quarterback who was slightly less than Cam Newton when he was injured and on another worse team.
Right. Yeah. I think numbers lie, and I think the name on the back of the jersey isn't just numbers. I think it's experience. I think it's decision making. The interceptions strike out to me. We had the similar conversation about comparing Brady to homeboy that was starting for the Bucs last year.
Jameis
Winston. I don't think it's all about the numbers. Again, Winston had a lot more interceptions. I think you said they had an identical QB rating. Completion percentage was similar. But again, I think his interceptions will go down playing for Belichick and the Patriots. But I just think when it matters, Brady's the decision maker I want. I know that the numbers and the flashiness won't always be the same, but
I think so. For me, I think with the thing with the numbers is a lot of people overlook the numbers, right? Mm-hmm. Like we can't when all of the numbers are saying the same thing, they can't be lying. There are people for you to look at, like, there were people last year saying that Brady was like an MVP candidate, or that Brady, that Tom Brady, it was the team's fault that they didn't make the playoffs. Like, you know what I'm saying? As if like he wasn't a mediocre quarterback. Like that's where he is in his career right now.
That's where he is in his career with the talent he had around him in Tampa, in in New England. I don't think those numbers will be there for Tampa Bay this season.
He's still a mediocre quarterback though.
But if his numbers are
you know what I mean? Like he can get Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl because of the talent around him. It didn't make Trent Dilfer not a mediocre quarterback.
But that was a long time ago. But and regardless, they had an insane defense. But regardless of any of that, that's the point. No, but if his numbers are way higher, are we going to say he's not a mediocre quarterback this year?
No. I'm saying at this point in his career, like the six, we have to when we're looking at this objectively, we have to take apart the team, the talent of the team, and the player, right? Like LeBron James was taking horrible teams to finals for years, and it doesn't mean that the teams were that great. He was just great, right? And he's also lost finals where he set a record margin in actually leading his team in every category. It didn't mean he was bad. His team was bad. What I'm asking is, if we are,
I said numbers lie. You're saying we got to use the numbers, and I don't completely disagree with that. What I'm saying is, if this season in Tampa Bay, Brady's numbers are way higher than this or significantly higher than this, are we still going to say he's a mediocre quarterback?
Yes, because his team, he's on an all-star team. See what I'm saying? So the numbers that we can look at and tell who he is are the numbers that he's been showing us for the past couple of years, right? So
but wait, that's who he is on a bad team.
No. He was on good teams. He had mediocre numbers on Super Bowl winning teams. That's what I'm saying.
I understand, but I'm saying the talent he's had around him. If we're gonna say if he's on an all-star team, so we got to denounce the numbers. Don't you agree that these numbers should be a little higher? Like, these don't really explain who he is because he's playing with bad talent for the last
because he had these same type of numbers with good talent. You see what I'm saying?
Kind of.
So I'm saying, like, if the numbers with rough talent and with good talent are telling you the same thing, I know the numbers can't lie. You know what I'm saying?
But that's what I'm saying.
If everybody's crazy, you're the one that's insane.
But that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. I'm saying if his numbers are significantly higher this year with good talent.
Yeah, I'm saying his numbers should be higher this year. It doesn't mean that we ignore what the numbers have consistently said. His numbers should be higher because he's playing on an all-star offense. Like, that offense is loaded. So they should be higher. And if they're not higher, then that's going to say more about him than anything else.
I think
I agree with that.
I think either way.
That's the only thing I've agreed with in the last 10 minutes.
I think the only thing is, no matter how we look at it, Cam has some big shoes to fill. And if he doesn't fill them, he probably will be out of there in a year.
I don't think he has big shoes to fill as far as the quarterback that he's replacing. He has big shoes to fill as far as the legacy that he's replacing, but this is not a legacy move for he didn't sign a 10-year contract. You know what I mean?
I guess
like no one's going to come in 1 year.
He's replacing Tom Brady. He's essentially replacing Tom, though.
With what Vershawn is saying, with both you just said it, I kind of agree with both sides, but the thing is that what he's got, the shoes he's got to fill is a guy that is going to come in and properly, in Belichick's mind and McDaniel's mind, implement the system that they're trying to run. Because that's what they're about. So they need a guy that's going to make the decisions that they want him to make. You know what I mean? Even if he's going out putting up numbers, if they're not happy, they know what it takes to get it done. So even if he's kind of got the numbers, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Like the Patriot way is the Patriot way. So that's what it's about. It's not even necessarily about him having a bad year. It's just about that relationship and where they see that system being able to go moving forward with him at quarterback.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see.
But I agree he's got big shoes to fill because Tom Brady's gone. And even though he's been playing mediocre numbers-wise, he's still Tom Brady. I mean, that's a big –
He's still Tom Brady, but I don't look at it like that in the sense of Tom Brady was there for – how many years? 15 years?
My entire life, it feels like.
So that's what I'm saying. To me, it's like you're not gonna in 1 year. You're not gonna.
But they're gonna
not gonna get anywhere close to a legacy that was built over 10 years. You know what I mean?
But the comparison.
They didn't make the playoffs last year. So to me, the shoes to fill is make the playoffs. You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying. the leadership is also going to be compared too. Like, though, that's the other shoes that he's got to fill is leadership. And that's been a question with Cam. You know what I mean? Like, other than that year when he won MVP, it's not easy to lead a football team, especially going to that system.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I'm.
We can't act like fans aren't fickle. You know, as soon as if he does
absolutely.
win, you know, oh man, we're glad we got him. As soon as he starts losing, you'll never beat Tom Brady. You can never fill his shoes.
Exactly.
What are you doing? Get rid of him.
Exactly.
You know how fans are.
They better be nice to Cam because Cam is their best option to win right now. It ain't Jarrett Stidham. Okay, so on to the association. The NBA is supposed to be coming back very soon. It's supposed to be around the corner. The players actually left for Orlando yesterday, I believe. But there has been a barrage of new names, people catching the Rona, people dropping out. Among some of those who dropped out, DeAndre Jordan, Spencer Dinwiddie, Trevor Ariza, Bradley Beal, and most importantly, Avery Bradley. How big is the Avery Bradley loss to you, Vershawn?
I'm not sure, man. I'm not sure.
Do we know yet if Lou Williams is going to play or not play?
Lou Williams has not, he has not said, he's not opted out as far as we know right now. He was 50-50, but he's not opted out.
Okay. In my opinion, it depends on if Lou Williams plays or not. Because for me, those two teams are the two best in the West, regardless of Avery or no Avery, Lou or no Will. The question is which one of them is better. And if Avery Bradley can't play and Lou Williams doesn't play, I think the Lakers don't have an excuse as to why we didn't make the finals. Then it's a matter of how much they lose without him in the finals playing Milwaukee or whoever they're going to play. But if they lose him and Lou Will does play, I think that's huge because if the Lakers lose that series against the Clippers, they can point to that and be like, we weren't fully manned.
So for me, this is huge. And I don't think people realize, like, first of all, Avery Bradley was a starter. Let's start there, right? Mm-hmm. Avery Bradley was also the star defensive player on the team. As far as the numbers goes, he was third, I think, in defense. He was third in defensive possessions shares or whatever. Like, I think it was, let me see, the only players on the team with a higher defensive point differential are Alex Caruso at 0.34 and LeBron James at 0.97. So he was, but Caruso wasn't the starter. So in clutch moments, you'll have LeBron maybe take somebody, but for like the majority of a lot of the games, like when they're playing the Clippers, when they're playing the Bucks, Avery Bradley is picking up Paul George and picking up Kawhi Leonard almost full court. He did an amazing job on Bledsoe, which is key because that was the issue when Rondo first started. Was defensively, people was chewing Rondo up and spitting him out. That's how Avery Bradley got to the starting lineup, right? So when they the last couple of wins that the Lakers had really started putting the rubber to the road and really putting something together, those were big wins, and Avery Bradley like showed up huge in those. And when he guarded put the lockdown on Eric Bledsoe, the Lakers won 113-103 in the victory over the Bucks. That was March 6th. He was guarding Kawhi Leonard, Lou Williams, and Paul George in that last Clippers game. He had 24 points and was 6 of 12 shooting from beyond the arc when they beat the Clippers that game. He's a 36% three-point shooter, a two-time all-defensive player. The Lakers' defense is almost 2 points better per 100 possessions when Avery Bradley's on the floor. Avery Bradley is a huge loss, right? And for if you're a basketball guy and you know basketball and you watch basketball, like you don't, it's the name on the jersey thing. Like people, casual fans might hear Avery Bradley and go, whatever, it's just Avery Bradley. But if you watching the Lakers games in and out like I do, you know Avery Bradley is a huge price, especially when you're playing the top of the pot in the West and in the East. That's the guy. That's the guy who's taking the star offensive player on the opposite team. He's picking them up. He's going chest for chest with them. So it is a huge loss.
There's a term for us NBA players like me who are in that fraternity of supreme athletes. It's called next man up. All right.
Yeah. Okay, so the next man up is J.R. Smith. This is not a good thing. He's a terrible defender.
Your greatest player of all time, when Bron beat my Warriors squad and we had Draymond suspended for a game, and that's a huge reason that you guys won the series.
No. It's not a huge reason because Draymond had another game to play. He had 2 more games to play.
But we lost that game at home. That would have sealed the deal. That would have been serious.
And they had 2 more games to win. They only had to win one of them.
But we went back to Cleveland, and it's a game 7, which is a coin toss. Everybody knows that. We would have sealed the deal.
Right, we just can't blame it on Draymond because
I'm just saying.
That wasn't a big deal.
There are reasons.
A big deal. It wasn't a big deal.
No, it's a very big. Losing Draymond Green for a whole game? That's a huge deal.
It's not a big deal because the series wasn't over. Yeah, all they had to win was
a huge
one
deal.
more game.
It's a huge deal, though.
They got him back for 2 more games.
But it's still a big deal.
That's not
could that game in Oakland been done in game 6 or excuse me in game 5 if they had Draymond? Could the series have been sealed?
Yeah, it could have been sealed in game 6 or game 7.
But it's a big deal. My point
and they had him. But they had him. He was on the
shit happens. Shit happens is my point. So if they lose, Avery Bradley can't play. It's just that's how it goes.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Like Avery Bradley not playing is a big deal. And it's also a bigger deal. It's also a bigger deal than the Lou Williams factor. Because Lou Williams, again, Avery Bradley is a starter. So he was really beginning to find his way in the rotation. His really finding his niche as a starter in the offense, especially on he's one of the Lakers' best 2-way players.
But lose the 6th man, that's big.
It's big. It's just not as big as Avery. I think because people just know Lou and he flashy and he make crazy shots and all that shit. But he's not. You know what I'm saying? Like Lou is actually also not the lockdown defender for the Clippers. You know what I mean? No. So it's a big deal, and I think that people aren't realizing how big of a deal it is. And then the other thing is the flip side of it, right? Like it's a bigger deal because you go from Avery Bradley to J.R. Smith. Like that's not good.
That's not great.
It's not good. Yeah,
it's not good. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not good. So I think that's the other side of it that cause and effect that you get. J.R. Smith is a bad defender. J.R. Smith is much older. J.R. Smith is a bad shot taker. He just takes bad shots all the time. J.R. Smith, basketball IQ, as we saw in that Warriors series, is very low. Okay? At times in the finals game, he don't know time in possession. And you in the NBA, bro, like that's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
So are you going for the Lakers? Like you think the Lakers are going to pull it off?
I don't know, man. To me, I would have to see how it plays out as far as, who all shows up. You know what I'm saying? They say that Dwight Howard was kind of on the fence, but then he said he's going to play, but he was on the fence about it. If the Clippers is fully healthy and the Lakers are not, we missing Dwight Howard or Avery Bradley, where I don't see them be. They got to be fully healthy because they need it more. Like I was watching them, and JT noticed I kept saying, why don't they go out and sign Jamal Crawford? Like as some type of answer off the bench for Lou Williams. Like the Lakers, even beating the Clippers, they still needed more. Because they're not as deep. They were never as deep as the Clippers.
Listen, I'm gonna say this right now. There are 32 teams in the league, and there are 32 that need Jamal Crawford. I don't know why Jamal Crawford isn't on a roster. Everybody can use Jamal Crawford.
It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense, especially when his last game he dropped 51. You know what I'm saying? So for him not to be, especially when you're the Lakers and you see Lou Williams coming off the bench and dropping 30 and averaging 25 off the bench, it's like, why wouldn't you go out and grab J.R. Smith? Like, to me, it doesn't make any sense. So you have him, you have DeAndre Jordan, Spencer Dinwiddie, Trevor Ariza. Victor Oladipo has said that he's not coming back, which is going to be a big loss for the Pacers because the Pacers had a nice squad. So to me, this goes back to the asterisk talk, right? Like, with all of these guys coming, does this really legitimize the idea of an asterisk going on whoever wins this title. These names dropping out.
Man, to me it doesn't, because injuries happen too, and we all know what would have happened last season if the Warriors don't lose Durant and Klay Thompson.
Right.
But I'm not putting an asterisk next to the Raptors. And, you know, I mean, it hurt watching it, but Kawhi won a championship, and he made the big shots to get him there, and he made the big shots to help him win it, made the big plays, and I don't believe in asterisks. I mean, we can always pick apart almost any win and go, man, this guy lost, this team lost this guy.
That's true.
And we never know who was even at 100 or even 80%. You know what I mean? Like, I hear stories from players. I listen to All the Smoke a lot, and they have a lot of guys on that are like, man, people don't realize when guys go into the playoffs and they're playing, and they're not going to talk about an injury because they don't want the other team to know, and they're just not making excuses, but they're going in 40%.
Yeah.
But their 40% is better than the guy backing them up, so they're going to play.
Right.
You know, but they're out there 40% capacity. So it sucks, because I was kind of pulling for the Lakers this year, because I don't really care to see the Clippers win. I'd like to see LeBron get another one. I'd like to see Anthony Davis win one. But, you know, that's the way it goes.
It definitely does. You know, it is what it is. No, whatever happens, happens. Whoever decides to show up is who's going to show up. You know, and that's just how you got to move. It's with anything else. You know, you want to show up, and the show got to go on regardless.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you just ball out. See, you never, the thing with sports, you never know. Yeah. You just never know.
I will also say this. I think LeBron's greatness, and I think them not having any answer at all for Anthony Davis, they could still pull it off.
Yeah, I think they can still pull it off. I think we've seen LeBron do this with almost less. You know what I'm saying? So I could see them pulling it off. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be shocked if they won. Would I bet on them winning if the Clippers come in fully healthy? If the Milwaukee Bucks come in fully healthy, I probably wouldn't bet on it. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, the Lakers needed all their horses to be in this race.
Agree.
I don't see them pulling it off without everybody there and without everybody healthy. Is it an asterisk for me? I was kind of like, for the past couple of weeks, I've been on JT's side where, like, I'm not really an asterisk dude. You know what I'm saying? Because it's a lot of championships that we can. If we're gonna go down the asterisk rule, we could talk about, you know, the whole run of the Warriors' first championship. They never played a starting point guard. Their whole run, everybody was injured, from Kyrie to the guy. I mean, it was like a string of no star point guards. They didn't have to play none of them, right? So
I took them all out myself. Out.
Probably so.
The Nancy Kerrigan, I took them all out.
It was something shady going on, but we could talk about so many different championships where we think it should have been asterisks. You know what I'm saying? With the championships where Jordan retired, and what was it? The Rockets got two rings in there. Like, we could say we could put an asterisk there. Michael Jordan wasn't there. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a lot of things that we could throw an asterisk on. So I tend not to go down that road. This has put me in an awkward position, because we've never seen nothing like this before, and it's not really a natural. Injuries are natural, and you know what I'm saying? It's not really a natural occurrence of somebody. You know, Avery Bradley's reason for not coming back is because he has a child that has, like, special needs and respiratory problems or something like that, and so he didn't want to risk the child's life and being asymptomatic, coming back and possibly giving something to his kid. You know what I'm saying? So it's completely understandable, but this is just like the world that we live in now.
You don't care. No, you don't care about his kid. You just want
something about a kid, and he's sick and he might die. I don't know. It's some bullshit.
Something about breathing.
He should be playing, and the Lakers should be winning a chip.
We need you, Avery.
I don't know. Something about him being a dad. I don't know.
Talk, Avery. We support you and your child, but bro, you give us $600,000.
But yo, LeBron, 4 rings. You should be playing.
This is the year. Tomorrow's not promised. I know. I want Avery.
Oh God.
I want Avery and his son to be safe and happy and all of that. But we know. I do think Avery's also losing money doing this, right? I think it's around $600,000 or something like that he will lose not coming back to play. But this is just like, as far as the asterisk goes, it's like we never seen this before. You know what I'm saying? Landry Shamet just tested positive for COVID.
The bigger loss, though, is Joe Connor's bragging rights for his man LeBron. That's the big loss.
Bro, my bragging rights.
That's the big loss.
They're not going anywhere. They're not going.
Oh,
anywhere.
Trust me, Vershawn, we know that's not true. The bragging rights would go from here to all the way.
All LeBron got to do is win one game against the Clippers in the series. It's over. Trash talk. Here he comes, Joe.
This is the thing. It's gonna be real hard to convince me that somebody's championship was legitimate if Bron catches the COVID or something like that. You know what I'm saying? We already shorthanded. I'm gonna be real iffy to call it a legitimate championship. I might not go as far as asterisks, but I'm gonna be real slow to calling the championship legitimate, because this looks real shady. You know what I'm saying already. Even with the Greek Freak coming out the East, not having to go through Victor Oladipo and the Pacers. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's significant to me. We don't talk about the East that much because it's just so top heavy. But
I'm more concerned about them getting through the Celtics or the Sixers. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but that's legit too. You know what I'm saying? But the Pacers with Victor Oladipo could have really played spoiler. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In the East, like, I don't think people realize, like, the Pacers was legit this year without Victor Oladipo.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's why the organization was so, and he was, the organization was so blindsided by him saying that he wasn't coming back, because he's been this injury was 17 months ago, I think. So for him to not come back, they were like, what's going on? Like, you're ready. Like, you got clear and everything. And he would just be the piece to now make them a contender between that. Because nobody is really, outside of the Milwaukee Bucks, nobody is really a beast of the East. You know what I'm saying? The Sixers have been underperforming all year.
They don't have it. Sixers don't have it.
Yeah.
Sixers
and that's my team, but
the Celtics, I think, could be the one. They could come of age before our very eyes, I think.
Yeah, they can. The Celtics to me, the Celtics to me are in the same position that the Pacers could have been if they'd have got Victor back, because they could have. The Celtics are a wild card to me. I don't really know what I'm gonna get from them any given night. Same thing with the Sixers. You know what I'm saying? So to me, it would have been like Sixers, Bucks, Pacers, and even Toronto. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of up there as a wild card. I don't know what's going, like, Vershawn, you and Philly, what are you hearing with this whole Sixers thing happening? Because they look like a mess to me.
I'm in Baltimore, so.
Well, right, but you closer to Philly.
I'm close to. I'm not really hearing much. I'm not hearing much of anything, to be honest with you. I mean, everybody really cares about LA and the Lakers. Like, I think that's what everybody really cares about. Like, I think we have our teams, when it's on, but it's LeBron all day. We want everybody. I want to see the Lakers win.
Who you got coming out the East?
I would like for the Sixers too, man. But
you
Celtics,
would like to.
Probably,
who do you
probably
think
the Celtics, man. Probably.
You think the Celtics beating Milwaukee?
I don't know. Obviously, it's up in the air. I mean, I don't know. It's Greek Freak nice.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's between those two, but I know Philly's not going to do it.
Yeah.
I know they're not.
What needs to happen is Milwaukee needs to lose before the finals again. And then the Greek Freak needs to be going like, man, I have a name people can't really pronounce. I'm not winning championships. I'm not even making it to the finals.
Right.
I just need to go to the Warriors.
Like,
on a great team over there. I know they know how to win. And they just had the worst season in franchise history pretty much. And just go over there and start winning championships.
Talk about delegitimizing another ring, just like all the Kevin Durant.
How is that delegitimizing?
Him going Greek Freak taking the Kevin Durant path straight to the Warriors.
There are no delegitimized championships.
Delegitimize his rings.
Rings do not get delegitimized.
Just like people don't. All rings aren't created equal. Just
yes,
like
they are. Yes,
people don't. People
they're made of metal and they have diamonds in them.
No,
they're made of the same shit.
All rings are not created equal.
Yes, they are.
Kevin Durant got cubic
don't listen to
zirconia
this
ring.
shit. Don't listen to this
That's
shit.
a fact.
They form a super team with
That's
the
a fact.
decision in Miami.
No,
That's
no.
not delegitimized.
No,
but,
it's
but
not.
my Warriors
It's not,
championship is
'cause he had to
delegitimized.
go through a big three to get to that championship, right? So that's a fact.
Hey, yo.
Let me tell you.
If he got here at the loopholes for Brian, I'm telling you.
It ain't no loopholes. Let me tell you something. LeBron rings is 100% a gold. Kevin Durant is rocking the cubic zirconium Jones. You know what I'm saying? Like his Jones is fraudulent. It's turning his fingers green because that was some fraud stuff that he pulled off. I don't think the Greek freak is going to do that because I think he got more integrity and I think he really cares more about the integrity of the game and
that's
not
a loophole.
tearing down the game.
It's a
loophole. I don't know what that is.
It's a loophole.
I don't know.
I just made a loophole just like that. You made one, and I just made one.
It looks like the loophole that Kevin Durant used to find his way in Golden State. So to me, I don't see the Greek. The Warriors keep doing this thing where they going after the Greek freak and for the next free agents period, but I don't see the Greek freak doing that.
Smart move.
Mr. Vershawn, thanks so much for being on the show today. Tell the people where they can follow you, where they can stream everything that you got ready for purchase for them.
So you can follow me on all social media platforms at Mr. Vershawn, MrVershawn. When you look for me on all social media platforms, you spell the Mr. out, MisterVershawn, and the album is Sage, and it's out now. Go get it. It's fire.
Album is Sage. It's super dope. Shout out Brittany, who was on the album, who we worked with, who is amazing. Is amazing singer, amazing songwriter. You can follow. I'm at Joe Connor 33 everywhere. Be sure to like and subscribe on the YouTube page. Turn your notifications so you know when we drop in a new video. We're available where everywhere podcasts are available. So that's iHeart, that's Google Podcasts, that's Apple Podcasts, that's Spotify Podcasts. You can stream, so make sure you stream and keep sharing the videos.
Spotify, give us $100 million.
Yeah, we also want a new contract, just like Joe Rogan got.
Yeah, new. When you say new, you mean any contract.
Any contract.
You want any contract.
Well, their contract is new, but I would take a brand new contract like theirs.
Can we have Joe Rogan's old contract?
I'm down for that.
I'll take his old contract.
Who was his old contract with?
No.
I'm down. Whoever had his old rights, I'm down. Let's just do it.
Any contract he's ever had.
Slot. Where can they follow you at, JT?
At JT Harker on everything. Drunk People came out June 5th, and it is on Spotify and all major streaming platforms except Pandora. I don't know why.
Because people don't listen to Pandora. You just got added to a new playlist, didn't you? A hot country.
Yeah, it's on the new. Ooh, I always forget the name.
It's like Hot Country 100.
I'll get it.
Playlist.
I'll get it for you right now.
But it's on the playlist, so search it and check it out.
New Music Nashville.
New Music Nashville. It's on the New Music Nashville. So check that out. Once again, thank Boss for coming on last week and subbing, and also who was the
Kwame the Don.
Kwame the Don. We'll have some videos out for them. So be sure to check that out. The show that I was filming for is up on my Facebook page and also on the Otherwise Facebook page and also the Otherwise YouTube. If you want to check that out, it's up on there. We're at about over 10,000 streams, over 10,000 people was rocking with us when we was doing it live. So thank y'all for checking it out and supporting and always supporting. This has been an episode of the Backstage Sports Podcast. Until next time, be safe and be great. Peace.
Backstage Sports.